missed it.
All right, give us one moment and take this one. Oh.
I am the worst bottle opener. You need to start talking.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Presented by
Jack and Oscar. Hey, what's
Thank
up?
you.
We'll get there.
Hey, sup? Hello.
Today, as you might have noticed, we have a new face with us. So today we are presented by Jack and Oscar and
Big Ange.
Big Ange.
Big Ange.
Big Ange.
Big Ange. Tell us why you come here today. What is
You know, I just had the day off and or the night off.
Okay.
I have nights off now.
Congratulations.
And, thank you. And you were like, we need guests, and I was like, I can talk for an hour. So
yeah, hell yeah.
There we go.
Sweet.
I like it.
Ange, I understand that you have a thing that you're trying to do or you're going to do. Can you tell us about it?
All right. I'm starting a YouTube channel, or I've been saying I'm gonna start a YouTube channel for like the past 6 months or so, and I've had this idea to have my friends just come talk to me about stuff and chill with me and do it on video, you know?
Okay, word.
Or do it on camera, and I feel like everybody has a story, so it should be pretty good content. I think people would be interested. Yeah, and I don't know, I think that is basically the premise of it.
Nice.
Everybody, just a collaborative effort.
For sure. And do you have a pending name? Can we hear?
Lava Takes with Ange.
Lava Takes with Ange.
Like hot takes, but
hotter.
lava.
Yeah,
Lava.
Even hotter takes.
Even hotter takes.
That's what the world needs. Hotter takes.
Hottest takes in the game, Ange McMahan.
Ange McMahan has them. Yep.
Hell yeah. Alright, so what are we going to talk about right now?
So we've decided that we're going to start with some of our favorite service industry horror stories, which so you don't know this, but we've talked about it before on the podcast. Oscar has literal service industry horror stories.
It's true. That's perks of working at a haunted hotel.
Okay.
Then also have just some regular ones as well. But yeah, got about probably almost 15 years of service industry experience between the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the service industry for?
I started working at a popular fast food restaurant, probably the most popular one, when I was about 15.
Okay, word.
It was terrible.
Sure.
And I vowed never to do that again. But about every job that I've had as far as service industry goes has had some food or beverage handling, whether it be coffee shop or restaurant, fast food chain.
Yeah.
I made take and bake pizzas for a quick stint. So that's been since
what does that mean?
There's have you heard of Papa Murphy's?
Yes.
This was while I was still in high school, so it was 7 or 8 years ago, I guess, and you would put the pizza together, but you wouldn't bake it. It was like Subway for pizzas.
Sure. So they would pick it up and take it home and bake it themselves?
Yeah.
I did not know that was a thing.
I don't think they have any locations here in New Orleans,
sure,
but
yeah.
they have them in Baton Rouge, and I think they're popular up north.
Right.
So
I guess pizzas get colder faster there.
Okay, so here's my thing. Hearing this, I'm a big fan of this concept. How what's the actual, was it good? Was it?
It was dope because
Guess less work for you, huh?
Well, it was dope because we got to experiment with a lot of weird ingredients.
Yeah.
You could make it you could make a pizza and
right.
fucking try it out yourself.
Well, here's also my question. Did y'all have equipment to bake pizzas in the place itself, or was it
Not while I was there.
Okay.
You just didn't have the ability at all.
Yeah, they didn't have the ability at all. We got we got a pretty sweet discount, 50% off. I mean, we didn't get tips, so I don't think we got tips at that time. I don't think we got tips for that job. So
wow.
It was just paid hourly, and yeah. So
that's very neat.
Yeah.
It was a good high school gig, and you didn't come home smelling like food.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
you weren't cooking it.
Yeah.
And people loved it. It got really busy, like, a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oscar, what was your first gig? What was your like
My
high
first
school
gig? Sure.
Yeah, your first
Yeah.
service industry
I guess
gig.
I don't feel bad about saying who they are because they don't exist anymore all of a sudden, and I'm sad about it. My first job was at Morning Call.
That's right. You worked at
the
Morning
The
Call.
one in City Park,
Mm,
which just closed.
that's tragic. That was really sad.
That is really sad.
Very
They
tragic.
honestly, they had the best beignets.
I love that
And
you
the
could
best cafe
powder your
lays.
own. Yeah. Best cafe
Best
lays.
cafe in the city. Not
I-
even close.
I hate pre-powdered beignets. I'm like,
Sure, yeah.
yo, I don't want this much on it.
Yeah.
And then I like to do the thing where you just like keep on adding powdered sugar as you eat it. And,
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Not
I'm gonna miss that place. It was kind of the precursor to me working overnight. I guess it was kind of always destined to happen because I used to work 7 p.m. to about 2 or 3 a.m. there, as a dishwasher mostly. It was good. It was good.
What do you do? What do you do now? Like, do you?
I'm a front desk agent
Okay.
/ night auditor
Okay.
at a hotel.
What do you audit? Because I've never actually explicitly asked. Like, what?
What is the auditing part?
Yeah.
It's so someone has to manually change the date over on our system every night, so that all the charges to all the rooms get posted at night from everywhere in the hotel because there's so many different departments.
Gotcha.
So it's like all the room charges as well as parking charges, as well as any restaurant or bar charges all get posted, and then I have to go through and check to make sure that those are all good, which involves a lot of spreadsheets and balancing numbers and running reports and yeah. It's a whole process.
How do you like working nights, like late nights?
The way I always tell people is, it's not for everyone, but it happens to be for me.
Okay.
I love it. I'm actually I have a bit of anxiety about going back to the real world at any point because I love working at night so much. I've always been naturally inclined to be awake at night anyway. My usual bedtime was like 3 a.m. So just pushing till 7, 8 a.m. ended up not being that hard.
Okay.
I think that's interesting because I don't think I've talked about this job on the podcast before, but my first job was, I don't know if you remember this, but I was a lost luggage handler.
I remember that. Yeah.
When I was like 15.
Yeah.
And those hours were insane.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the reason I quit the job. I didn't mind doing the overnight thing. Like, the overnight thing was definitely manageable. The thing was, they would ask me to then come in at like 7 a.m. After going to bed at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
No.
Because what I used to do was I used to just go to each little airport terminal. They'd go, hey, we got this lost luggage. We'd bring it to our place. We'd then like look up the address or like call the people, find them, find out where they're staying, deliver it to them. Which was a fun job because essentially all I did for like 8 hours of the night were be like sit on the computer. I was a big Tumblr kid, so I used to just sit on Tumblr.
Yeah, those are peak Tumblr days. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Gosh, 5T4S, y'all.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get a bunch of those people coming to the hotel. They'll always come drop off lost luggage in the middle of the
I
night.
thought you meant Tumblr people for a moment, and I was like, damn, really?
Tumblr people.
We're a big Tumblr hotel.
I would love that.
But yeah, no. And so I used to just like spend hours like sitting on Tumblr and listening to music, and then at the end of the night we'd go for a drive and just drop off luggage, usually downtown. And so it was good times.
Yeah.
And then
Always
I'd
good.
wake up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, that's rough. I would always get, or I do currently always get guests asking like, I've got luggage coming. I'm sure it'll be here like by midnight or something. And I'm like, nah, it's not.
No, yeah.
It gets here like 4 a.m. necessarily. I'll just hold it till the morning.
Almost met Anthony Bourdain to that job.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, I like literally just missed him. Yeah. So like what happened was we got his luggage and called him, found out where he was at.
Somebody lost Anthony Bourdain's luggage.
I think Anthony Bourdain lost Anthony Bourdain's luggage.
Oh, I thought like the airport lost it.
How does
Guess
that
could
work?
go either way.
Yeah, either
Could go
way.
either way. Yeah.
But yeah, and so we had to go deliver it to him, and like of course like you don't ever like exactly have to deliver it straight to him. Of course the hotel can take it, and like if he is like yeah y'all can throw it in my room, they throw it in his room or just hold on to it for him. But yeah, like I walked in and they were like, you literally just missed him. He like walked through the lobby and told everyone he was gonna buy everyone drinks, and I was like, oh, okay.
No drinks for Jack.
Yeah. Well, I was 15. I don't think it would happen anyways. But yeah.
That's fun. Yeah,
That would've been dope.
I was 15 as well. I think first job. It's just a good time.
Was that morning call?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Damn, that's so long ago now.
Yep. And I've been working ever since.
Same.
basically constantly.
Yeah, I've never worked a job not in service industry. Or I haven't,
Same.
or like had a job, I guess I should move closer to the mic, but I got, I was an RA for a quick stint, but I still had another, like, restaurant-esque job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's not really a full job.
And still, being a resident assistant in an apartment complex is still, like, serving the public.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to, like,
Yeah,
talk
still
to
customer facing.
random people.
Yeah.
So, let's get into it. Let me hear some like real bad service industry nights. Like, let's.
Why don't you start?
Why don't I start?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, weird. I didn't think I'd have to like just do this immediately.
You brought it up.
Yeah, you're right. The one that comes to mind almost always is. So, I worked at a very popular place here in New Orleans. Popular for a specific pastry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. And I, at the time, like, I basically did everything. Like, I would work on the line if they needed me to, like, go glaze donuts and pastries. Well,
You want to try that again? I'll let you try it again.
Bagels. Glazed bagels.
Glazed bagels. If I had to go glazed bagels,
Yeah.
you know, they'd throw me there, and then, like, often they'd, like, throw me on cashier, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much did a bit of everything. And
Super organized herd.
Yeah. Wait, what's that?
Super organized herd.
Yeah, super organized. And essentially what had happened was I didn't remember that I picked up a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I had recently gone through a bad breakup. And so I did what you do after any bad breakup. And just immediately the next morning, I partook of the devil's lettuce.
Yes.
And then I got a call.
Yes.
And it was, "Hey, Jack, you're supposed to be here 15 minutes ago. Where are you?" And I was like, "I'm supposed to be there 15 minutes ago." And they're like, "Yes." And I was like, "Oof." So
Big oof.
See you in 15 minutes.
yeah, and so I got there, showed up, and kind of right before I walked through the door, I was like, I gotta like get myself pumped up, like. And so I realized that the way that the jazz cigarettes made me feel was very positive that day. So
Sure,
I was like,
that's good.
I'm just gonna, ride this high.
Yes.
And I walked in super positively, and then we got slammed. I think our second busiest day that year. But yeah, and like as my boss like walked up and like gave me my till to work cashier, he made a comment about it. Like he handed it to me and he was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Fucking high ass." And like I was like, "All right, cool." And then like yeah, so I like immediately started rolling because they were super busy. And like about 10 guests in, one dude just like looks at me and he looks me dead in the eye and he just goes, "Hey man, I just wanted you to know that I could tell you are high out of your mind." And I was like, "Oh no." And then he goes, "But you're killing it." And I was like, "Yes, thank you."
I imagine that pause felt like ages in your brain.
Oh, it did. It so did.
You were so high. You just got it.
No, yeah. It was terrible, but it was fun. Good. That was a good day. So service industry nightmare in one sense, but
yeah,
I pulled it off.
Somehow
I'm
they
really
always
happy.
work out in the end,
Yeah.
But there have been times where you leave stormed.
Yeah. Oscar?
You ever stormed out of the place you worked at? That's always fun.
No, never. Have you?
Mm-hmm.
What?
I mean, like not before your shift ends, but just like at like the moment your shift ends, you're like, I have to leave now.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
not completing any of the tasks that you're supposed to do to
Yeah.
complete your shift, except that there's no more people looking at you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always fun.
I think I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to, but
Yeah, it's been like
actually I try to
twice
stick
ever.
around and be in a huff for everyone to see.
oh sure,
And
Yeah.
then,
make it as public as possible.
yeah.
Yeah, I just like to retreat.
Ooh. Yeah. We had a lot of moments like that at the bagel place.
Yes,
Yeah.
Did you all work together there?
we've never worked together. We almost did,
Yeah. We got close.
but they didn't hire me, so their loss.
Rude.
And then I almost had another job that you worked at, but then I like
But then you didn't work there.
Yeah, it didn't work
We've
out.
almost worked together many times, but never have.
Except for now.
Except for now.
except for
Except
now.
no one's
Cheers
getting
to
paid.
that.
Doing a great
day.
job.
What was I gonna say? Oh, right. No, yeah. So the day after our newest president got elected.
Sure.
So the
Another
place, the bagel place was very open, and like you know,
very open.
Open kitchen.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And so I just remember everyone was super silent that day. Everyone was super tired, and someone on management was a fan of this election, and he walked in and he goes, "Man, I don't know why everyone's sad. Like, it's a great day for America." And our like lead baker like looked him dead in the eye and went, "You know why the fuck everyone's sad?" Like yelled it in front of like everyone in the right, like, oof. And like, yeah, like I straight up saw like a dude like halfway through like biting an egg biscuit just like drop it and like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Did they get fired?
No.
They should have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, but just like know your audience. Like,
Right.
you can have your views or whatever, but like, we all have to work here and be next to you, and you just like cause this like
and,
tension.
Yeah, he's instigating on purpose.
Yeah.
It's not good to do in general. Drink break.
I've said 2 now, so
That was 2, yeah. Thank you very much. I do have one that I've never... I have one big one that I've mentioned that I've made a whole podcast out of once.
Yeah.
So I guess I shouldn't tell it again. But I will tell you if you want to hear it. But I do have one that I've never talked about, that I haven't thought about much since it happened. So this is fun. I used to work for a different, very popular, local-ish. Well, not really local, but they're popular here. Pizza place. And... This is the one day in my life where I worked like 18 hours straight, which that's been an occurrence for you a number of times.
I feel like I classically, we're both workaholics.
Yeah. I'm not, But this is the one day where I've done that. And that part actually wasn't the worst part about it. The worst part was there was this. It was like a youth group, I guess, like this giant youth Christian group that was in town.
Sounds
for
freaking awesome.
Yeah. They were in town for like some convention or something.
I remember this.
This was downtown, so that's just where all the things happen. I've had to deal with people like them many times now at the hotel, but this was my first experience with like just a giant group of people in one place at once, in a restaurant that's really wasn't that big.
Not meant for that.
Not meant for that. No, like this was literally like it was a line of probably 200. Just like little white kids,
yeah,
who were not
the best
what
kind.
you could call socially, aware
yeah.
of how to interact with people and how to act in a restaurant setting. So the first half of the shift was literally just like 8 hours straight of dealing with these people, and the kids were not great because they're just immature kids. But then also all the people that were wrangling them. The
managing
leaders.
them well.
Yeah.
All the like moms or pastors or whatever just were also not cooperative at all, and a pizza oven can only hold so many pizzas at once.
Weird.
Yeah, it wasn't even my part of the job. I was like the one. Unfortunately, I was often either in the back making dough or in the front taking orders. No in between.
Yeah.
So for that whole entire first half, I was in the front taking orders, which I learned how to be very assertive that day.
Nice.
It's ended up being very useful at the hotel. I will say that, but yeah, you learn eventually that you can't just be like nice.
Yeah.
Eventually, you have to be like, "This is what we're doing. Okay, you now and you." I just had to do something very similar at the hotel. We had a frat group in town this last weekend, and we had to whip them into shape as well. I actually wasn't the one doing it, thankfully. I just was the one dealing with them coming. But my manager there gave him like a whole speech. It was amazing to watch. I was like, "This is beautiful." Just like literally like putting the spook in him. Like, this is your first and second noise warning and all that. And like, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna check in 2 at a time, no exceptions. Girlfriends over there, friends over there, just the ones with me. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I actually recently, in one of my jobs, at the one where I do the kind of more front of house persona, I had we got tasked with, hey, if there's somebody who's been here for like forever, you got to kick them out. Like, if they're not buying things, kick them out.
Interesting.
And like at first, it gave me so much anxiety. Like, like telling somebody like, yo, you got to get out of here if you're not gonna buy something. But then I started doing it, and like it's like funny because like they get upset with
gives you joy.
It gives you joy.
Yeah.
Like, because at first they get, like, upset with you.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, like, whoa, you're
Who
telling
are you
me?
to tell me? Yeah.
And then they leave anyways, and you're like, well, then I definitely won this one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very weird switch to turn, but eventually you can just be mean. Eventually it's okay.
I have, like...
It's like it's the one thing we get as service industry workers.
Yeah. Ooh. I like being mean back of house. Like,
Yeah.
back of house, it's funner to be a bit mean than it is front of house, but...
Well, you can get away with it.
Yeah. More frequently.
Because your money doesn't depend on whether or not the guest
True.
liked their experience.
Yeah.
Well, the end of my story was just that I had to deal with that for 8 hours, and then at the end of that 8 hours, there was no dough, so I had to stay for another 8 hours to make dough. And I was like, I want to leave, but also, yeah, you're right.
That's crazy.
It was awful.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Sorry, yeah. Open and close. Only time I've ever done that. Only time I will ever do that. I'm not you.
You're so weak.
Yes.
Ange, let's hear it. What's...
The first one that comes to mind is a restaurant that we both worked at together, our first restaurant together.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You've worked at multiple places together?
Technically, yeah.
Wow.
Two places.
Two places.
Wow.
Technically, we've both worked at three restaurants the same.
Just not at the same time, all of them.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So,
For sure.
this city's pretty incestuous, though, as
Yeah,
far
it's
as,
true.
like, service industry
Yeah.
goes. You can't throw a rock and not know somebody who,
Works in the service industry.
yeah, or works at a restaurant that you worked at, or you know somebody who works at that restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the first restaurant that we worked at together, we had this, like, avocado toast.
I remember.
Yeah, so, I mean, weird. That's gonna give it all away. But, this table got up, and the server didn't have time to, like, bust the table. It was, like, during a lunch
Right.
hour, so they just dropped the check, and the guests left. This was on the patio. And, another guest got seated, like, next to that table. And they just started taking dirty, eaten off plates from that table and eating
Just finishing it off?
Just finishing it, like, off of a stranger's table.
Oh my god.
What? This is the strangest thing I've heard.
I'm
surprised I've never heard this.
Story.
The other table was gone though, right? This
Yeah,
was
the
just a
other table was gone.
Yeah, they were just, oh look, free food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, I have thought about doing that before.
I mean,
But actually doing it
like,
is a whole
wanting
thing.
to do it and being like actually doing it, like, and this is a pretty nice restaurant. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
at lunch, I think the, like, small plates ranged from, like, 15 to, like,
What, like...
15 to 18 bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's not like, I don't know, maybe that makes it better.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess it's not quite, they're just picking off fries. They're like, these are like dishes.
Yeah. That's
But still, it's like a nice restaurant, like,
right.
you just have to, like,
It's not the place for it.
it's just,
I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I wouldn't...
Were they just like reaching over and grabbing, or did they just
no,
like
they,
take
like,
the
brought the plate to the table and started just going to
plate?
town.
This is mine now. Was this
Like, you hadn't even been greeted yet. So,
Yeah.
like, you knew, like, the server did a double take and was like, and you don't know what to do in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to, like, pretend it's not happening in order to get through the service, I guess.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Or get through your interaction. And this is the type of restaurant that, like, at lunch, they probably stayed at least an hour and a half. So you had to interact with them.
For a full hour.
Yeah.
And then just no one ever brought it up to them. Just
I don't think so.
That is a pretty common occurrence. Maybe just for me at the front desk, but there often you just have to ignore what's happening and go on with the interaction that you're supposed to be having with this person.
Yeah.
Like, I've had multiple times where they're like, a couple has been at the desk arguing at the desk in front of me, and I still have to be just like, hey, so what's the last name for the reservation? Just ignoring the fact that his wife is yelling at him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One of my friends, you know this person. I'll tell you who it is after. Can I tell someone else's story? Is that weird?
Yeah. No, tell
There are no rules here.
So,
There's some rules here.
so she was waiting on this couple that, like, sat down, and then, or they were just, like, from out of town or whatever, celebrating whatever they were celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat down, and they were, like, a middle-aged couple. And all of a sudden, like, there's only one person, and she tells the server that she has to leave because she just found out that her husband was cheating on her.
Mm.
Oof.
Or
Damn.
had cheated on her.
Sure, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that she's so sorry, but she's gonna have to go.
Yeah.
And then I think she tried to tip her, I don't know. I can see this particular person, like, saying no.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I had kind of a similar situation happen. So this was actually whenever I worked my fast food job. It's a very popular southern fast food place. Like,
yes.
And so
this one is definitely a local establishment.
Local establishment. And essentially what happened was we had a girl on the line who was cheating on her man, and it was like we joked about it all the time. We were like, yeah, she just does that. She's just like man eater, like until
that's how she do.
One night the man came in because he found out, and he literally started yelling at our restaurant. And for some reason, another line cook who was there, who just for some reason just felt like, you know what, I'm not one of the guys who, you know, your girl is cheating on you with, but I still want to rile you up. And for no reason, he just starts. So now they have the video cast, I can do this. Puts his hands up like this.
Yeah.
And while the dude's like trying to yell in the restaurant, he's like, yo, you can't yell at my restaurant. I'm the dog here. And literally keeps on repeating the phrase, bitch, I'm a dog at him. Until eventually what ends up happening.
This dog ears?
Yeah, like this. Like,
oh, sure.
Yeah,
okay.
kind
That
of.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
A lot of sense.
essentially what happens is
this is a reasonable action.
the boyfriend tries fighting the guy who, through the window of this joint, is yelling, bitch, I'm a dog.
Yeah.
And then whenever that happens, of course, our fellow line cook, this guy's girlfriend, decides, yo, well, I gotta stand up for my guy on the line. And she grabs a chair and they have a chair fight.
Chair fight?
They have a chair fight. And
those are some hard chairs, too.
This is one of those joints that has, like, those, like, really tall chairs.
Yeah.
So, like, they grab, like, of course,
like
they grab the big...
The, like, metal ones?
Yeah.
This is a local place?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me later what it is, but I think I have an idea.
Yeah, you probably do. But it was just, like, funny because, like, there's definitely a,
I've never heard this story either. I love this.
There's, like, a security camera video that looks like two kids, like, pretending they're, like, fighting each other with lightsabers, but with, like, huge, long chairs.
It's a really good back of house story.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Man.
Y'all have different horror stories than front of house.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are always fun times. Dishwasher stories are fun.
Do you remember when we worked at that first restaurant and we wanted to come up with a TV show called Dishwashers of New Orleans?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's so good. Man, I, like, just walked in one day, actually, at that first restaurant, and my favorite thing I'd ever heard was I just, like, walked in, and, like, they were, like, all smiling and laughing, and, you know, I'm, like, walking through, grabbing dishes I need, and then, like, one of them goes, yeah, man, like I said, crack just doesn't sound like it used to, and they all, like, laugh together in unison, like, yeah, you're right, it just doesn't. It's just, like, I was like, yeah, okay. Go.
All the dishwashers are always trying to, like, flex too,
Yeah.
like on the servers,
Sure.
on any woman that's around.
Yeah.
I can think of like 3 that like you just laugh at
Yeah.
because they're
You
You're
know what
like-
they're doing.
Yeah. They, like, flex at you, and you're like, haha, okay, sure. That's... Oof, yeah. Dishwashing days, man. I do not miss dishwashing. I think it is the job I could never go back to.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't like a dishwashing job, but dishwashing, so therapeutic.
Oh.
I enjoy washing dishes. Especially when you have the 3 sinks and the thing and the, yeah. Ooh.
I used to work
I can
where
get into a
I
groove.
didn't have the spray head. I worked
Rough.
alone.
That's rough.
And I, like, high volume restaurant. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not fun. No bueno.
No spray head. There's no point.
Can't wash dishes that way.
No.
Just a sponge
No.
and a metal scrubby. Yo, I got a lot of hand cuts from metal scrubbies.
Yeah,
Those are the worst.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you ever wash dishes?
Yeah, at the pizza joint.
Pizza joint. Okay, word. Yeah, fair.
Those are fun dishes to wash.
Well,
I guess yours weren't cooked, so.
yeah, we didn't really have like plates. We just had like the stuff the food was stored in.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I will say this: never like wash dishes for a bakery. Like those are the worst, especially because some days people decide to let their caramel go 3 times in a row. Thank you, Grant. And
Shout out to Grant.
yeah,
Shout out to Grant.
washing burnt caramel is no fun. But
Yeah.
I did learn a trick that day.
Sure.
You can baking powder. Yo, put it on the stovetop. Let it boil. Throw some baking powder in there. You can get anything clean. It's great.
Yeah, there's little tricks for everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I dishwashed at morning call, which just meant that I always went home smelling like coffee because my entire forearms would just be like all coffee and milk. It was kind of gross, but yeah, it was fine. Because the worst was like we had like hot chocolate, which when you let that sit for a few hours, gets real gross. It's just like sludgy.
Yeah.
Not good. Hard to get out of a sink.
This one's not a service industry nightmare, but I just got reminded of it. Is at my current job, we had one woman come in for like roughly like 2 months. As far as we know, I think she moved somewhere up north.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really weird. She was, I don't always want to say the word crazy, but like you could tell it was like something like extra little off with her. Like she used to like walk in and would talk to like the air, and then you'd be like, "Hey, what's that?" And she's like, "No, don't worry, I'm talking to somebody else," and there'd be no one else in the room. And I was like, "Great." But my favorite thing about her was no matter what she did, she'd go into our shop, go to the restroom, and it'd be one of 2 things. Either everything would be spectacularly cleaned, or she just like moved everything everywhere. Like we found our like toilet paper. Like
This is someone who worked with you, or someone
No.
who
Just someone who came in.
Okay,
That's
what's
crazy.
the service industry? nightmare?
Yeah. Like she came in one time and like she went to the bathroom, and then afterwards all the napkins in the bathroom suddenly went missing. Yeah, and then later on we like found them like tucked away behind a chair or something. Like it was like crazy, and like sometimes she would just like take the soap and just like wipe the mirror with it, but like leave it all smudgy, and we were just like, all right, great.
Cool.
But every other time she cleaned it immaculately. We were like, yeah, that's our girl. I guess we can't really kick you out. Like so yeah, that happened.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I do that a little bit. I'll always just like go around the entire place, start pushing in chairs, wiping up my chair, and bathroom, like I'll wipe the sink in the bathroom.
For places that you go to?
Places that I go to, yeah.
Wow,
just,
Oscar.
so everywhere I go, I just gotta be like, yeah. It's just
I can't wait.
compulsion.
Yeah.
If there's any open doors, I gotta close them,
Are you gonna eventually start talking to the air?
Maybe.
Okay.
Very possible.
Can't wait.
Very possible.
2020, Oscar Hernandez.
Right now, I keep it in my head. Sometimes, who knows? It might slip out.
There we go.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to get a redemption one?
No, it's not gonna work.
Okay. All right, Oscar. Well, as you said, we got to talk about the beer.
Yeah.
That is what we do.
That's what we do here.
I have a Coke because I'm doing dry January.
And
No
tell us
shame in
about
that.
the Coke.
The Coke is in a bottle. It's a Mexican Coke. It's delicious. I would say Mexican Coke is my second favorite type of Coke.
Second.
Rather
Interesting. I
than-
can't wait to hear what the first is.
I like my Coke to be in a can.
Oh.
Yo, fair. Okay.
Is there Mexican canned Coke? Or do you just
I don't
do you
think
just like
so.
regular canned Coke?
No,
It's gotta be in a glass bottle to be Mexican Coke, right?
I think so.
Well, I think it just has to be
they,
made
like,
with
made
real
Coke
sugar.
Life for a while, which was made with cane sugar, but I
Yeah.
don't know if that's like the same as.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Mexican
true.
Coke.
Yeah, it's probably pretty similar. So you just like regular Coke in a can?
Yeah.
Oh.
I agree.
Not
though.
a plastic bottle. Plastic bottles. suck.
Yeah, not plastic
Yeah.
bottle, not from a fountain.
Mhm.
Can.
Canned Coke is my favorite. I would say that Fountain Coke's my next favorite, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I would
just like
say
the
Fountain Coke would be third, but like definitely love a good Coke from McDonald's.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I actually Ubered This is so bad.
Oh no.
No.
I
Oh,
Uber
no.
Eats. 2 fountain Cokes, just Coke, to my house last night.
Last night.
That's interesting.
Well, similarly,
You had a very interesting.
last night as well. Very hungover yesterday, so I didn't eat for like 12 hours except for a bag of chips. And you'd be proud of me. I had 2 Cokes, two Cokes, my guy. I got into the shop, was like, yo, time to tear up some Coke. And I drank them, delicious. I always claim to hate Coke, but it's just because I'm like, yo, I shouldn't drink Coke.
Sure.
You should drink Coke. I'm not gonna drink Coke. But I did it twice yesterday. And then I didn't eat for 12 hours, and I procrastinated eating to the point where everything was closed. And so I ordered some McDonald's, and I ordered like too much McDonald's.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's so cheap. You can Uber Eats so much McDonald's for like
20 chicken nuggets for $5.99.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
It's unfair.
Yeah, unreal.
Shout out to Coke though.
Shouts out to Coke.
I still like Dr Pepper more, but Coke's good.
That's good.
Dr Pepper.
I like Dr.
people's
Pepper,
favorite
dude.
is so weird to me.
But how's your beer, though?
Let's
Oh
talk
yeah,
about this
beer. I was wondering if I was gonna like this or not. Turns out I love it.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Interesting. Oscar, tell them about it. Who makes it? What's the name of it?
You're looking at it. All right, it's Founders Brewery, which I think we definitely reviewed a Founders before.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. And it's an 8.5% alcohol volume.
Not bad.
Alcohol by volume.
It'll get you drunk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll do good.
A couple of them.
And it's very malty. It's dark ruby in color and brewed with 7 varieties of imported malts.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
You see, this is an interesting case because I'm not a big fan of malty beers.
I am. Yeah,
Oof. Okay. Well, our rating scale this season. So we changed the rating scale every
it's
season.
true.
Ange.
Yeah. What was our first one?
Gosh, you're gonna make me bring up the first one. Okay.
Oh, wait, I just remembered. We're here now. What was the first rating system?
So
It's just for Ange.
This is cat pipe, by the
No,
way.
it doesn't. No, he's cool. Our first rating system was the Chubb system.
Yeah.
It was
It was a scale from 0 to 4.
0 to 4, and yeah. And then our second one, what was our second one? We did a weird one for the second one. So the second one we did out of a pack of 6 beers, how many of them would you drink?
Mm-hmm.
And then like what was your quality rating?
Yeah.
And this one we're doing now, which because we kind of just always think of them on the spot, is if this beer were a drug, I guess,
Yeah.
on a scale of 1 to 8, how many grams of this beer would you buy?
Yes.
So how many would you? Let's hear.
Right. So I couldn't drink too many of these.
Yeah.
But I do love it. So it's probably sitting at like a 6
At a
grams.
6. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like these dark ones.
I like it. It's drinkable.
Mhm.
But it's like too sweet for me.
It is a little sweet. Yeah.
That's the kind of beer
Definitely-
I would like.
It's definitely pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy.
It's got a body to it. You know.
I'm going to say that this second Coke is probably at least my 6th Coke of the day.
I was wondering where that was going.
Day.
Damn, dog.
So it's probably like a 6 for me, too.
Wow.
There you go.
Nice.
My new job has a fountain.
Yeah, those are dangerous. Yeah.
Mikey?
But it was 6 a.m.
And you need someone to get you through the day.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
it
sure.
was delicious.
So what was your rating?
I'm gonna give this 3 grams.
3 grams out of 8.
3
Wow.
grams.
It is rare. It is so rare that we disagree, so I'm actually so okay with this.
Yeah. Oscar, do you want to do the ASMR reading of the description? Because this one's got a full description. It's been a minute since we had one.
It's true.
Let's hear it.
Christ. Okay. Your chairs are so creaky. Alright.
Do your best sexy voice. Let's hear it. You don't.
I'm not going to do that. But I will talk. So this is Founder's Dirty Bastard. So good, it's almost wrong. Dark ruby in color and brewed with 7 varieties of imported malts, complex in finish, with hints of smoke and peat, paired with a malty richness and a right hook of hop power to give it the bad attitude that a beer named Dirty Bastard has to live up to. Ain't for the wee lads.
That was a very if you were an elementary school teacher and you got your whole class to be silent, like that's how you'd read a book to them. So I can appreciate it. It's kind of
gotta educate the kids on their beers.
I know people are gonna see this on camera. My favorite part of popcorn is the half popped kernels.
Yo,
half pop,
I agree.
Sure.
Actually, big fan of the half pop kernel. Little crunchy, a little fluffy. It's good.
And showed up today with some popcorn that she basically made by hand.
Shouts out to Ange, as well as this book. Would you like to tell us about the book you brought us?
I read this book, and while I've been doing research, like I said, for about 6 months on how to start a YouTube channel and how to not do it and it look like garbage. Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully I've learned a few things. But while I've been researching a lot of the things that they talk about in here, I'd already read about. And I follow both of these guys' channels already, so they talk about it in their YouTube channels. But some of the information is more fine-tuned, I guess, or more broadened.
Right.
That's two different things, but it's more, they go into more detail on specific points. So I really liked it. I think that it's really informative, especially if you haven't done any research about starting a channel or starting an online brand. It's called YouTube Secrets: The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Following and Making Money as a Video Influencer. So even for me, not having started a channel yet, I think it's very informative. And y'all already have a couple videos up, so I think that you'll
probably not following any of those rules, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like rules. It's just advice. It's advice on how
true.
they did it and how what worked for them, what didn't work, how. A lot of what I got out of it is because I'm deeply unorganized and ADD. Consistency is probably what, and how to schedule consistency is what I got the most out of.
Yeah, we're still working on
that.
Yeah.
So this is probably the perfect gift for us, and I appreciate it. It's very. Do you know who Nardwuar is?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, you'd love Nardwuar.
Okay.
I think.
hard
I
to
love
say.
Nardwuar.
I don't know if I even love
So
Nardwuar.
you feel like I would love it because I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. Cheers.
I'll just be over here.
But
no,
yeah.
I love you too, even though we've known each other less because he loves you. So
Aww.
This transitive property
it's
just love spread everywhere. I love it.
But no, Nardwuar is just because we do like to drop a little yo, if you haven't seen this, check this out.
That's true. Yeah, we never talked about Nardwuar.
And
I feel like Nardwuar's always been one of those things that's just for us, but
no, it's for all of us.
Go ahead.
So Nardwuar is
Nardwuar.
Nardwuar.
Yeah.
Yeah. You jumped in. Yeah, good. No, yeah. So Nardwuar is probably one of. He's a big influence for me in conversational practice, kind of, if that makes any sense. Especially whenever I'm doing a presentation of sorts, say a thing like this, because he does this. He essentially has interviewed a ton of
basically
huge
everyone.
musicians. Yeah, everyone.
Literally
so he's interviewed everyone from Nirvana to Henry Danzig to Lil Yachty, and he's still doing it, and the dude's been doing it forever, and he just has so much fun with it. And his whole shtick is he essentially researches his guests to the T, and he learns things about them that they would never imagine anyone knew.
Mm-hmm.
You never really find out
things
how
they didn't know about themselves.
He hires a PI basically.
Essentially,
probably, honestly.
Yeah, probably for the amount of stuff he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, bud. And he just always drops these random facts on them about themselves, and they're always whoa, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and
they're always accompanied by gifts.
Yeah. And so Nardwuar always does his research and usually gives them vinyls and stuff.
And lots of vinyls,
Yeah.
and posters and stuff like that.
And just the way he talks is so sporadic, and he just always manages to have great control of the conversation, and is occasionally it's funny because it's hard to outwit Nardwuar, and he's just a whole character.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest of the subgenre, if you can call it that, of YouTube that is the personalities that you're not sure if that's actually how they are or if they're playing a character.
Okay.
Where you just still don't know. Like the
Do you
report of
think
the
that's
week.
on purpose? Like that they...
I don't know. I mean, it's like
I would imagine so.
like Vsauce or report of the week or even like primitive technology or what's his face? Shit. No, I'm mad that I don't remember his name. Ben Wertz? Is it Ben Wertz? Bill Wertz. Bill Wertz.
I know that one.
History of the Entire World, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
There's all of those dudes where they're so weird, so eccentric, so specific that you're like, is this actually how you are, or are you playing a character?
I think I would hate it if Vsauce was exactly how he was in video
Yeah,
in real life.
him actually, I know that he's playing a character, but
Right.
a lot of people are
Could
not
you
sure.
just imagine, like, you're just eating lunch with him and he's like, the burger. So simple, so intricate. Just like...
Or is it?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have y'all watched the new, like... There's a couple of different pop culture documentaries / docuseries on Netflix and Hulu right now.
Sure.
The Fire Festival, both of those I recommend. If you have you seen them?
No, I
No,
haven't,
they
but I've been
dropped
dying
very
to.
Those are so neat to me. I remember watching the Internet Historian video on Fire Festival like a year ago or more, and I was like, really neat. But then they made like 2 full feature documentaries about it too. So I guess I should watch those.
I didn't watch the historian thing.
Yeah.
Last year, I remember seeing it on Twitter and it being like a meme.
Yeah. It was very fascinating.
The one on Hulu, I watched it back. I think I watched it backwards. I watched the one on Netflix first. The one on Hulu has the guy. Apparently, he put together that documentary. I found out later.
Interesting.
But it still kind of it doesn't paint him in a good light.
Sure.
So either he's just an idiot. I mean,
Very
I
possible.
actually think that I don't think that he's an idiot. I think he's like a full blown sociopath.
Sure.
Based on both of the documentaries. But yeah, the one on Hulu, he does like interviews like for it.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of, do you keep, like, I only recently started doing it because of Oscar. But,
So has the rest of the world.
because of you?
No, not because of me. Because he's only started doing it recently.
Yeah, the Shane Dawson, like, TanaCon thing.
Love it.
Yeah, it was
Love
insane.
I made him watch it.
It's so crazy.
It was, yeah, absolutely. And, like, I haven't actually watched a Shane Dawson video in forever, but
years,
it was...
yeah.
I've watched all the series he's come up with.
Yeah, he did
one on Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That one wasn't as entertaining as the previous 2 to me. I feel like a lot of it, I don't want to say it was staged, but a lot of it I feel like was not.
Like, you could tell he probably, like, talked to the people he was going to talk to and be like, yo, this is what's going to happen. Can I do this?
Yeah.
I don't think Shane, if I had to guess, Jake Paul's team of whoever, because that's you know who Jake Paul is.
Yeah.
It's Logan Paul's
younger brother.
I imagine that like his team or he himself wasn't gonna let some of it be shown.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I only watched the first part of that, but yeah, the TanaCon one is phenomenal.
The one on Jeffree Star is pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he had one on Jeffree Star.
Yeah, that was the one he made after the TanaCon one.
Okay.
TanaCon was kind of the preface to all these new series. I wonder if he's going to come up with another one.
I'm sure.
If he
Yeah,
has.
I mean, that's basically what his channel is now.
Right.
People love their conspiracies.
I actually really enjoy Shane Dawson's videos.
Yeah, he's good. He's had a very interesting career.
Yeah.
I haven't YouTube recently. Ever since SourceFed ended, I just haven't done it.
Yeah. I've been worse in 2019 because I have to watch a movie every day, but I'm still trucking along.
Well, it's only the 28th. Is it 28th? Am I getting
The
it wrong?
28th, yes.
Okay, wherever.
You're watching a movie every day in 2019?
Yeah, I've talked to this every episode so far, but yeah, I'm currently...
High five.
My main goal for 2019, in addition to posting every day on Instagram, which I'm also killing it, is to watch a movie every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's today?
Today's Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson movie starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Are you allowed to watch movies that you've already watched, or can you...
I'm sure I'll get there eventually, but currently I'm trying to just keep up with new stuff.
Okay.
I'm also specifically trying to watch movies that have come out in the last 5 years that I missed right now.
Right.
Cool.
Because I missed a lot of stuff last year in
any
2017 and 2016.
Give us a...
I mean, both. I mean, you could do Fire Festival 2 days in a row.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
I really like this series. It's another like pop culture series on Netflix. Crap. There's one called Insta-Famous, I think, and that one is like it's like 6-minute episodes though. They're not even like a movie length. But then there's the American Meme or something like that. Yeah. That one I really liked that one. Okay, it's like it's just so interesting to me. Like how do they do what they do? Is it worth it? I don't know.
Did either of y'all watch Ingrid Goes West?
I was just about to mention Ingrid Goes West because I did watch that last year. It's kind of like that. It's not a documentary. It's a fictional story starring Aubrey Plaza as a wannabe Instagram influencer who looks up to Elizabeth Olsen, who is like a successful Instagram influencer, and her quest to befriend her and become famous through her. And it's like, it's a very negative look at it all. But it's a very good movie.
Yeah. Oof. That movie made me like feel real uncomfortable with like just the whole idea of like having like an online persona and stuff. But yeah.
I mean, it was like the extreme of it.
Right.
On one hand, like me, I'm thinking that would be dope to just be able to do what you want and get paid for it. I mean, do whatever you want. I'm doing air quotes for those who aren't like watching. But like to be able to live your life without like
a basic routine.
Yeah, manager or random people. I mean, I guess you are accountable to random people, but like you're not accountable to their schedule, I guess.
Right.
Like you can set your own schedule.
You just gotta like meet a quota, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But then on the other hand, once people get to that level, they either like have a breakdown or they're not grounded anymore. It seems.
Yeah.
Most of the people who would go into that kind of thing are already like prone to that level of whatever you want to call it, narcissism.
Right.
Yeah. But do you have to be a narcissist to get to that level, or is that just like what?
I don't think so. No. I mean, a lot of people luck into it.
Right.
Like a lot of the people that I follow, or like worked for a company that happened to be huge, so now they are also huge, and even if they don't work for the company anymore, they still have a huge following, so they can kind of continue to benefit off of that.
I mean, these two have like a medium-sized following.
Yeah, and they've definitely worked for it, and I don't think they're crazy.
No,
I would guess.
I don't think that they're crazy either. They talk about in this book, the theory of 1,000 true fans. And I believe Sean Cannell talks about
I've heard him talk about that,
in his videos. Like,
what is the theory of 1,000 true fans?
So 1,000, you need 1,000 people to be like a true fan, meaning that they buy into whatever you're selling. Like they will buy whatever you sell.
They will like
forever.
Every post. They will watch every story.
They'll interact with every video. They will be, and that is how you grow a substantial income or a livable income off of media.
Okay, I can see that.
Like, it doesn't matter how many followers you have; it just matters how many engaged followers you have.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So the number could technically be 50,000, but that doesn't matter as long as you have that 1,000.
Right. Because if the 50,000 aren't saying anything, aren't sharing, which you do.
Yeah. And that there's a lot of people who have like
more than that. Ariana Grande has 1 million true fans. You know what I mean?
She's killing it. Yeah. So here's my thing about the whole like going crazy thing is like, so do you guys keep up with like H3 at all? So like I think it's also like interesting because I don't think you need to have a certain degree of narcissism, but you have to like have a certain like desire to kind of like receive that attention. You know what I mean? Because like so like I follow a lot of like content creators like say like John Hill, like love John Hill. He does like his vlogs you know, but like that's always been his goal. Is like he wants the attention, and like he's talked about it before. Like, of course, like it stresses him out and stuff, but he's like that's kind of like part of the gig. Like he knew what he was getting into. Whereas like the H3H3 people were doing it, but like for them it was more of like kind of a casual hobby. Like, yeah, sure, it could blow up, but like when it actually did, neither of them was prepared. It's like, ooh, like I still got to deal with like
that's I love that. There's a cool divide. Whoops. There's a cool divide between creators these days, like the ones that have been around for a while,
right,
and then the newer ones, because the newer ones want it, the older ones kind of lucked into it,
yeah,
didn't expect it. Like all of the people who have been around for like 12 years at this point, they may have wanted to get famous, but they didn't really ever expect to. I think like your Grace Helbigs, your Rhett Links, like
right.
They never expected to get to where they are now.
Right.
They started in 2006 just putting stuff out there because that's what felt right to them at the moment.
I don't think that they wanted fame necessarily, but I do believe that they wanted to be successful at what they were doing.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that can be broken up into two different categories. Like, these guys want to, like, they talk about it in the book, they want to earn a living for their family.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't necessarily want, like, people, or, like, want people to stalk them or fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely
to worship them.
Yeah, to worship them is right. Whereas people like that are like 22-year-old like social media like famous people, like you can tell that that's like they moved to LA, they want to be famous.
Those ex-miners,
right?
Yeah.
I think this is also something you and I talked about, which is like it is insane because it seems, and maybe we're wrong, maybe we're just like a little like delusional, but it feels like social media success is a little bit more achievable nowadays, especially based on the number of people who I've seen now who have like millions of followers, but I've like never
no idea
of.
Yeah. I've definitely had that thought, like the internet, whether you think it is or not, is kind of big enough for everyone,
Right.
which is kind of beautiful.
Yeah
You don't even really need to have met there's plenty of like friends that I have online, like through Instagram or through whatever, that I've never met in real life, but like we've interacted so much that it doesn't feel like we need to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just that kind of person that is okay with that.
Oof. That's interesting to me too, because so when I was younger, I like wasn't like huge on Tumblr, but like there was a small point where like I think at my peak, like I almost hit like 1,000 followers on Tumblr, which was wild.
And you had like friends.
Yeah, and I had like friends. Like it was, oof. And this was like at it, but the thing was, I was also very young.
Yes,
like extremely young, to like have that. And so it was like I deleted it and just restarted. And like
I have a number of friends who
it scared you.
Kind of like it was just like wild to like
overwhelming.
It was a bit overwhelming because I remember. When I say extremely young, I was like 13.
Yeah, that's extremely young to have 1,000 people that you don't know following you on social media.
And I would comment on stuff, and of course, like not every comment I made was like smart. I was 13, and it was like weird to have people judging me who like I just never knew. But but I feel you though, because there's people who I've now for almost like there's some people now who have had a mutual following of me for
like
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, at least. Some of them, and like it's crazy because I always think like, oh yeah, it's that person, and then I'll like try to recall times I've hung out with them, like, oh wait, that's not how I know
exist.
you.
Yeah. It's weird, man.
I have a number of friends who, when they were younger, had like fandom Tumblrs, so they got like huge, and had to just stop because it got overwhelming for them too, like in the like 20,000 follower range.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
It's crazy. When they were telling me about that. Sounds great,
wild.
but
wild.
Then it's kind of, especially for a Tumblr, because there's not a lot of, I guess, especially these days, but even at the peak, there's not a lot of people who make a living off of Tumblr.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was the things that you could make a living on. I mean, Instagram just got to be kind of
like it's the hot one right now, kind of.
I mean, Vine, people were making a lot of money on that one before it died.
Very briefly,
yeah.
Snapchat's kind of one of those these days, either through I guess the usual sponsor stuff or the premium Snap, which is
Yeah.
that's a whole other thing.
How do you even do that? Like
It's not legal, but or like not Snapchat accepted,
Right.
but you know they still do it.
Yeah.
I know a girl who did that for a while. I think it got kind of sketchy though. So
Yeah, seems like a delicate thing.
I'd be too afraid.
I would be afraid. I would be afraid not like of being naked. It would just be like, what if someone saw it that like I actually knew in real life?
Right. Yeah.
That's like that's like weird.
I imagine they get over that at some point because it has to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no way you get that big without it happening. At
Like
some point.
eventually, like someone in your family knows.
Yeah. What if my brother saw it?
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's how I feel about my Twitter. Like.
Really?
So yeah. Well, no. Well, John. Now I know. My brother John.
Yeah.
I know he follows me, but it's like funny because like it has happened once before, so he's listened to the podcast.
Yeah. I was a little worried about it at the beginning, but I've kind of got over it.
Yeah, I've gotten over it now too. But like, so I had an incident where I got in trouble with the law, and I talked about it on the podcast.
You may remember.
And this was like very early. Because, yeah, that's why I'm always like, the first season is a little weird. Because we just kind of like, we were still kind of figuring it out a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like talked about it. And then he like brought it up to me one day at like family dinner. And I was just like, oh, yeah. So I guess I never told you about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But, so you, when you texted me earlier, you were saying you kind of wanted to like figure out how we got this started.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been like a slow roll process, I would say, because like this is like I would say this is the first season where we're like pushing it real hard, especially because the last season was choppy for reasons, but we wanted to like stick with it. Oscar, fill in Ange on how this started.
Sure. I guess some of you know the story, but you know, here we are. So Jack and I actually know specifically why we started it, and I actually did want to talk about that anyway. Jack and I have been following various YouTubers for ages now. I got him hooked on SourceFed back in like 2014-ish.
Maybe earlier than that.
Maybe earlier than that, yeah. Which is one of my favorite things that has ever existed on the internet. I don't know if you were a fan.
What is it?
SourceFed. It was it started as like a news channel that was started by Philip DeFranco.
Oh, I love Philip DeFranco.
Yeah.
In 2013, YouTube gave him a bunch of money to start a channel, whatever he wanted, and that's what he chose. So it started as like a news thing and then developed into just like a personality ensemble thing where they just did whatever they wanted.
Okay.
And I fell in love with everyone on that cast, and they still all do stuff these days, which I love. So just the more that we got like into the YouTube world, which I've always been just huge into. I have like so many people that I follow and love. So it just kind of eventually like we started, you know, just like talking back and forth, thinking about like we could probably do this if we wanted to, just not really like with any intention, just kind of, you know, talking about it like.
Yeah.
And then as the years went on, say like 2016-ish, we started getting a little more serious about it because there was one specific podcast started by two people from SourceFed that we both loved a lot, called She Didn't Text Back, which I don't know if I've actually ever talked about that specifically. It's a podcast started by two boys named Will Haynes and Darren Girdner, where it was actually one of the first podcasts that I got really into because it wasn't like super structured or anything. There was just two boys talking, and usually like one of their bedrooms, sometimes one of their closets.
Yeah.
Because one of them was an aspiring stand-up comic and the other was an aspiring rapper. Okay. So they would always just talk about the things that they wanted to do and just telling each other about how they're going to be big one day and just shooting the shit and stuff like that. I was like, I didn't know you could just talk with a friend on the internet and that could be that. Because my exposure to YouTube stuff up to that point had been like very produced stuff with like, you know, people working behind cameras and all that. So to see something so like low budget, I guess, was inspiring. So the more we talked about it, the more we were like, yeah, we could do this. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, we already are very performative in the way we talk in a crowd.
Right. So Oscar and I have been friends for 12 years?
Approaching, I'm sure.
Yeah, ooh, crazy. 12 years. Oscar and I have been friends for 12 years. Yeah. We went to middle school together and not high school, but so we've known each other like essentially forever, and we just like specifically when it comes to music, movies, or like, you know, stand up even, we just always get these really long-winded conversations going. Speaking of like morning call, like I can think of multiple nights where we like would meet up with you after your shift and we just started talking about whatever, and we like talked for like 5 hours until the morning.
And it was always better when there was like 1 or 2 people there too, because then we would essentially start talking at them together.
Yeah. And so that's also why we were trying to get a guest this season, is because like, so like earlier you're talking about how like you were trying to see the whole like, does like a person have the same persona as they do when they're presenting versus like when they do in real life. It's like recently, like it's something we've done in conversation before, but like I'm also trying to like just get into it in just like regular life, is just like recommending people things just like on the fly.
Yeah.
Like today I like talked to somebody about Cowboy Bebop.
Sure.
And, like, yeah, which was real weird. But yeah. And so like that's essentially kind of okay, there we go.
Mikey.
There we go. He's
At least move. Okay. It's blocking my shot.
Cat butt.
cat butt. But yeah, so we used to always just like have like a third person, and then we'd start talking about things, and of course like they'd naturally interject and be like, no, but you gotta like check out this thing, like.
Yeah. But yeah, we've like our interests, our tastes have been like it's a very
Pretty
incestuous
on
taste.
par.
Like we've
like
influenced each other's taste in music and their stuff like throughout the years. So whenever we get someone else to talk at, we tend to like team up on them. So then we were like, we could just do this to the whole internet.
Yeah.
And so that's
then we talked about it a bunch and didn't do anything for a few years, and then eventually we did it.
Yeah.
thanks to having to leave college.
Yeah.
Shout
out to leaving college.
So that's what happened. We like spent a whole summer. Aloof. We spent the whole summer, I guess, aloof. Yeah, like we just like didn't do anything, and eventually we hit this point where we were like,
if we don't do it, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. And
or like even worse, if we don't do anything, we're not gonna do anything.
Right.
I'm not gonna do anything with my life. Oh my god, what am I gonna do?
And so that's when you hit the point where you're just like, yo, follow your dreams, huh? Like, but I will say this, because while like we don't have, we're obviously not like entirely successful, like thanks. But I will say the thing that I think helped me the most was, and like Oscar and I recorded maybe like over 10 episodes before we actually posted one.
Which
so like
I've incidentally over the years I've heard a lot of podcasters say like you should do that. I was like, cool, great. Did that anyway.
That's my plan, is to record and edit like 10 videos, and then start posting consistently every week.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Can't wait.
But yeah, I've just been like writing scripts and stuff for the most part now.
Nice. Based
on who I'm gonna interview and what we're gonna do on the segment. But yeah.
Okay, word. Sweet. Yeah. So that, like, we had like a bunch of podcasts where we literally sat around and it was like awkward because we would like not say anything for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You gotta like figure out your talking voice. You gotta figure out like your persona.
At this point I have a thing I can kind of flip into.
Yeah.
Which isn't super on display right now because I don't have anything on my brain to talk about. Whenever I have something to talk about, I'm just like on the moment the moment we decide to start. Like the moment the beer gets cracked open. I love that we've given that. It's like a Pavlovian like switch in our brains to like start and go into the thing.
So I'm quitting my current job. I've been with the same group of people for about 2.5 years.
Same.
So I want to do I guess I can't talk about it on camera.
What? Oh, do you want to like do like interviews with people we worked with or something, or?
I want to do
an expose.
No, I don't want to do an expose, but I will interview people I work with because those are basically all my best friends.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So I want or have worked with. I want to do a last day prank.
Okay.
Oh,
interesting.
Like not a like. Have you seen New Girl?
No, I haven't.
I've watched a few episodes.
Do you know Winston?
Mm-hmm.
So he does these pranks, and they're either like too small or like too huge, and I want to be like somewhere in the middle.
Right.
not like so overboard that it.
Right.
You want to senior prank your job?
Yeah.
I like it.
So I don't know.
So we're gonna have to talk about that off camera.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well,
Got it.
very excited
Got
about
it, got
that.
it.
Sweet. I'm
Love
excited to hear about this. Yeah.
Love it.
So any questions for the podcast or anything you like want to get out there? Do you
Sure,
occasionally?
you can put something out there if you want.
Yeah. Occasionally a freestyle. Do you want to drop 16 bars, Ange?
Do I want to?
No, yeah.
No, I don't.
No. Yeah. If you have any more topics, we can go longer. But if not, then we plug. What's the?
That's true. Yeah.
My Instagram, Angela McMahan, ANGELAMCMAHAN.
Yeah.
All one
It's a
word.
solid Instagram too.
It's fine. It does what it does.
Yeah.
That's basically it right now. But if you follow my Instagram, you'll know when my YouTube channel comes out.
Nice.
Lava takes with Ange.
Lava Takes with Ange.
Big
Can't wait.
Ange.
Big Ange. That's it.
Can't wait.
Oscar?
Okay, now we gotta go into this. Somehow it's different every episode. One of these days we'll standardize it, but
Yeah.
it's still not there. I am at Oscabriel. That's OSCABRIEL. It's my first name and my middle name just smushed together. On Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Letterboxd is where I review movies every day, so you should follow me there.
Keep up with Oscar's movie reviews. I'm excited to see this happen.
Yeah.
Movie every day. It sounds
Yeah.
like the dream. You got anything else?
My Twitter's great too. I got complimented on my Twitter recently. It was great.
Yeah, you told me about that.
I did.
I am the Ghoulist. TheGhoulest. You can follow me on the Instagram. You can follow me on the Twitter. Don't do a lot with it, but follow me on the Twitter. Don't add me on Snapchat. Don't add me on Facebook. That'd be weird. Well, Angie, you can add me on Facebook. I think no, you got me on Facebook. We're friends.
We're friends.
We're friends. Yeah, and
Yeah,
You should get a Facebook page. I actually do have a Facebook page.
I can't remember
for
the
your
last time I.
upcoming thing.
In general, I had one for my website.
Sure.
Okay, word.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, yeah, I guess
should
you
get a
should.
Facebook
But
page, I guess.
Or like a presented by
yeah,
Facebook page.
You're right. We
Yeah.
should.
I don't
We
know.
should be on top of
I don't like Facebook.
This is the year where we got to get serious about it because, like, the first two seasons,
Let's
if we're being
help each
honest,
other out.
we should.
I would
Can
love
we do
that.
some
media
can we
homies.
do some accountability? Like we could do some
Sure.
we
Yeah.
could do some freaking accountability.
Hell yeah, dog.
Okay, accountability is where it's at. I agree. Like the first two seasons, we were still figuring out. Like that's why number one reason I hate the first season is because I decided I would freestyle every episode, and I was like, bad idea, Jack. Don't do that every episode.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main reason you don't like it.
You know,
That's funny.
Well, the thing was, I wanted to get good at it, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, yeah, now I'm
And
good
now
at
he's
it.
good
But
at
also,
it.
but I'm like, yo, now there's just like a whole season of just like bad freestyles, and yeah,
That's funny. Yeah,
But no, and then the second season, we just were off our game. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we talked about it. We got completely thrown
so
off.
the third season in my heart is like the real first season because now we
Sure.
have like a structure and we know what we do when we enter. We don't have like a ritual or anything, but like pretty much every episode we do like the talk thing that we did at the start.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we got like a flow to it.
We're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this video thing is new, but soon I think it'll solidify. It's still looking a little different every episode, but
And you're right, accountability
You
with
got a
our
light.
I got a
we
light.
got a light. But accountability with our social media homies is an important thing.
Yes.
Lava Takes with Ange, presented by. We gotta we gotta continue
We're building a brand, homie.
building a brand,
We're
homie.
building a brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Building brands.
Cheers to building brands, even though I'm out of
2019
beer.
is for building brands.
Building brands, y'all.
I'm so here for it. See, this is why we need guests to gas us up.
Gas
We got
up.
this. I told someone today that I'm like really pumped about being hype man for like everybody.
Yo,
Hell yeah.
yeah. I had a friend who said 2018 was about gassing up your friends and staying hydrated. I think we agreed. Nothing's changing. Gas up your friends.
Wait,
Stay hydrated.
is that Nathan Zed?
No, but also I do
think
love
he's-
Nathan Zed.
he's
I think
so
he has said
funny.
something like that. He's great.
Yeah.
You have he has
He came back recently. He has
Is
a
he?
he has a
He did,
a
yeah. Have you seen his new
YouTube-
video?
No.
It's
What?
pretty good.
He had he has a good enough shirt.
I have a good enough hat.
I know you told me, and I'm jealous. I want the hat now.
Well, now I need something.
Yeah.
When's
Support
the
our boy Nathan Zed.
What's the next drop?
Nathan Zed,
Ned. Nathan
just
Zed.
send us some merch. We'll wrap it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's true. We got to start like actively reaching out to like bigger social media people.
That's true.
We need to have a photo shoot. We've been talking about it forever.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
I saw a good place while I was riding my bike the other day,
Wow.
off Harmony and
Well, don't
Laurel.
give it away. Oh, okay.
What? Don't give it away.
I said don't give it away.
It's
Our
fun.
secret.
Who
Kidding.
lives in New Orleans?
True.
Not a lot of people.
Not a lot.
Like
Not a lot.
it's like 400,000
Less
in
even. Yeah.
proper New Orleans. Don't move
Yeah.
here. It's terrible.
There was too much traffic today already.
There was a lot of traffic.
It was awful.
For Monday.
Don't
Why?
come here if you want to start another school, because I live surrounded by 3 fucking schools.
Before you come here, you have to donate to the road fund.
Yeah. Oh
my
yeah.
god, I wish that was a real thing.
The potholes for riding my bike are terrible.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's gotta be
That
awful.
school zone thing is real too. I leave work at 7 a.m. On the weekdays, it's the fucking worst.
No, both
the
my
school zone every 2 blocks.
So I, if you can't tell, I got 2 jobs, and like literally one of them starts at 9,
Yeah.
and like so I gotta like drive through school traffic for 9, and then the other one starts at 3 when school gets out. It's terrible.
Yeah. Schools fucking suck. God damn.
Schools suck. But yeah. Oh,
Where were we?
I think we're
Accountability.
accountability.
Follow us on our social media.
Yes.
We're building brands. We're gonna be back next week.
Next week.
Stronger than ever.
Stronger
These
than
two
ever.
guys, not
Yes,
me.
all 3 of us.
I might be around
I mean,
some other
you're
time.
welcome on anytime.
Yeah. Whenever you want to come on, feel free.
Y'all are gonna come onto my channel.
We
We'll
will.
just do this like back and forth thing. Cat butt.
Oh my god.
Um,
Mikey.
So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're doing we're trying to do a guest a month. I think I've mentioned that, but I'm just gonna say it
Yeah.
again. We're trying to do 1 guest a month, so you're our January guest.
But like as always, as we said, like if there's ever anybody like in the room who just like wants to be on the podcast, yeah, feel free to weigh in.
Yeah, it's 1 minimum per month. I will always welcome someone else.
Yeah,
As
for
mentioned, I think we are best with 3.
Yeah, definitely.
dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just keep it going. We'll just build brands.
Build brands. I'm all about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's it then.
So that's the podcast.
That's the podcast. Thanks for listening. Presented. We're gonna be back next week. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we never do. So
You always say presented. In my head, the name of the podcast is not presented.
What
it's
is it?
presented by Jack and Oscar.
well,
I don't know, that's just me.
gotta shorten up the band. We are PB and J technically. PB and JO.
PB&JO.
PB,
That's-
yeah, it's
PBJO.
PBJ and
Hashtag PB&JO.
Hashtag PB and JO. Thanks y'all.
It's good. All right, we'll see you next week.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.